At the company gala, Ethan's secretary, Chloe, was on her period, and Ethan kindly took a drink for her. I just felt nauseous, called my lawyer in front of everyone to prepare the divorce papers, and turned to leave. Ethan's face darkened, and he immediately chased after me. What are you stirring up now? I just took a drink for her. Is that really necessary? I ignored him and posted a Facebook post about breaking free on my phone. Sorry, but my marriage is mine to control. The company party was held to celebrate my husband Ethan landing a major project. I knew he valued his pride the most, so I specifically invited many CEOs to attend. Ethan is allergic to alcohol. He didn't even touch a drop of hard liquor at our wedding reception. So, I took all the drinks for him. But I had drunk too much and was just about to look for a hangover remedy to recover. Instead, I saw Ethan stand up and take the drink meant for his female assistant. Chloe is on her period today, I'll drink this for her. Then, in front of everyone, Ethan directly downed that entire glass of hard liquor that was handed to him. When I saw it, my stomach churned, and I turned to leave. Seeing this, Ethan immediately chased after me and grabbed my hand. Today is my promotion celebration, can you stop making a scene? At that moment, everyone in the company turned to look at me, then their gazes fell on Chloe. As if they had long known the two were having an affair, they all lowered their heads and whispered. I heard Mr. Ethan never touches alcohol. I can't believe he took a drink for Chloe, it's unprecedented. Look, Mr. Ethan's face is already red after one drink. This is clearly a sign of his alcohol allergy, yet he still took the drink for Chloe. Yes, Mr. Ethan's wife always took his drinks for him to take care of him. Turns out, all of that was just her unrequited affection. Listening to their discussions, my heart sank to rock bottom. I tried to break free from Ethan, but he clutched my hand tightly. Sophia, Chloe is on her period today, she can't drink alcohol. What's wrong with me drinking for her? Besides, Chloe deserves at least half the credit for this project's completion. Me letting you stay here is already showing you a lot of pride. It was laughable. I had secretly pulled many strings for him to successfully become the CEO from Vice, yet now it had become her credit. I sneered inwardly, then glanced at Chloe. Her eyes were already red, and she weakly lowered her head, tears dripping onto the table. Mr. Ethan, please don't be angry. It's my fault for failing to meet expectations. I'm on my period today, which is why I made you take the drink for me. I suppressed my anger and spoke coldly. Chloe, is it appropriate for you to flirt with my husband in front of so many people? Chloe looked innocently at everyone and stood up to explain. Sister-in-law, Mr. Ethan and I just have a pure superior-subordinate relationship. I can't drink, and Mr. Ethan just didn't want to disappoint everyone. If you don't like us, I'll leave the company right now. With that, she picked up her clothes and turned to leave. Ethan pushed me away and immediately ran after Chloe. Chloe, we are innocent. If you leave now, it will cause gossip. Ethan immediately pulled Chloe into his arms and whispered softly to her. Chloe let 2 lines of tears fall and slowly began to speak. Mr. Ethan, I shouldn't have made you take that drink for me. Please don't blame sister-in-law. Ethan saw this and it pained him deeply. After helping her to a chair, he walked towards me and said coldly, apologize. My face changed, and my heart twisted in pain. I bit out each word, blee. Before I could react, he slapped my left cheek. His force was so great that I stumbled and fell to the ground, a streak of fresh red blood appearing at the corner of my mouth. I stared blankly at Ethan, my eyes filled with disbelief. He didn't look at me, but turned back to continue comforting Chloe. Watching this scene, a bitter smile touched my lips. I endured the pain, got up from the ground, and called my lawyer to help me draft the divorce papers. I stumbled over to Ethan and quietly said, Ethan, let's get a divorce. Ethan spoke indifferently, Sophia, I advise you to be sensible. Don't forget who brought you step by step to where you are now. Chapter 2. Back then, for his projects, I ran around begging people for help, never imagining I'd end up like this. I turned and walked out of the office building. It was still drizzling outside. Looking at the blurred glass of the company building, brightly lit, Ethan was holding Chloe's shoulder, raising a glass, seemingly celebrating his victory in driving me away. I walked home numbly, still hoping it was all a dream. Before I got home, Ethan had already arrived, beating me to it. I opened the door, and a pungent perfume scent hit me. His hair was messy, and there was still a lipstick stain on his tie. He leaned against the door, his whole body red from his alcohol allergy. Seeing me enter, he immediately hugged me and slowly said, Sophia, I was wrong tonight. Chloe has done so much for me, and I haven't done anything for her. Don't blame her. She talks tough but has a soft heart. There's no need to make such a fuss. I sneered inwardly, pushed him away, suppressing my disgust, and then said, all right, if you're so keen on doing things for others, then do something for me tomorrow. He agreed without thinking. The next morning, I waited for him on the sofa, with the divorce papers placed opposite. When he woke up and saw them, his face instantly turned cold, and he demanded, Sophia, what's the meaning of this? Weren't you placated yesterday? What new stunt are you pulling now? I said indifferently, didn't you say you'd do something for me today? Sign the divorce papers, and I'll let you two be together. He explained impatiently, I already told you, she's just my secretary. Nothing has ever happened between us. I still said coldly, sign it. Ethan picked up the divorce papers, tore them in half, and said furiously, divorce? Don't even think about it. Immediately after, I took out a second set of divorce papers and placed them in front of him again. If you don't have enough to tear, I have more here. Also, if you don't sign, I'll sue you in court for extramarital affair. He laughed, mocking me, do you have any evidence? Don't forget, when your Sophia family was down and out, how I pulled you back from the edge. Without my help, it's hard to say if you'd even be alive now. Sophia, threatening me won't work. I want you to behave yourself. His phone suddenly rang. After answering, he looked at me guiltily, chatting with an ambiguous tone on the other end. I knew it was Chloe. Then he slammed the door shut and drove straight to the company. My phone rang at that moment. Seeing the caller ID, a slight curve appeared on my lips. Miss Sophia, everything you asked me to investigate has been checked. I acknowledged it and hung up. I had intended to leave the company directly, but then remembered the analytical documents I had prepared for other companies, which could directly help our company eliminate most of the competition. When I arrived at the office, I saw the blueprints and documents I had modified for the company by staying up late and working overtime, also Ethan could successfully become the CEO. In the end, it was just something people would mock me for. Since I wasn't staying here anymore, these things were useless. I picked up these documents and files, piled them up, and set them all on fire. After most of the documents were burned, Ethan burst in, I don't know when. Chapter 3 Sophia, are you crazy? These are the things I need for the upcoming press conference. How am I supposed to hold it if you burn them? I sneered. Yes, I am crazy. Why not? I worked overtime and pulled all-nighters to create these. Why can't I burn what I made? Ethan extinguished the fire while salvaging the unburned documents. What do you mean, you made them yourself? Company assets belong to everyone. This is a collective achievement for the company. What good is it that you organized them? Chloe explained them to everyone one by one. You just created them, what's the use in that? Hearing this, a bitter smile spread in my heart. So, creating something was useless, only explaining it made you a true hero. Didn't she explain them? Then let her keep explaining for you. Ethan's face stiffened for a moment, but his hands didn't stop. Sophia, I'm telling you, if you make it impossible for the company to complete its annual press conference, I won't let you off the hook. You won't have to sit in your position anymore, someone else will take your place. With that, Chloe suddenly rushed in, grabbing my hand, tears streaming down her face. Miss Sophia, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have stolen your hard work. If you leave, the company will be ruined. Seeing this, Ethan immediately pulled Chloe into his arms, gently wiping her tears. Chloe leaned into his embrace. Chloe, no, it's just some documents. I can have others create identical ones. Chloe cried even louder, begging me not to leave. Ethan couldn't bear it and said to me, Sophia, you see, Chloe has humbled herself so much. Do you want us to kneel before you to stop? Looking at them, I even thought they were a married couple. All right, you both kneel for me, and I'll stay. Hearing this, Chloe was about to kneel, but Ethan pulled her up. Sophia, I advise you to know your limits, or it won't be good for any of us. At that moment, Chloe suddenly said to Ethan, Mr. Ethan, I left something in your office. Could you please get it for me? After got rid of Ethan, her tear-streaked face instantly turned malicious. She grabbed my hand and whispered in my ear, your husband smells really good. Also, the car Mr. Ethan bought me seems to be the only limited edition N model in Riverwood. Miss Sophia, don't be impatient. Maybe if you perform well this time, Mr. Ethan might even reward you with a basic car. I tried to pull my hand away, but she used my resistance to stumble and scream. Her scream was very loud, and everyone in the department turned to look. At the same time, Ethan heard the sound and rushed out quickly. Seeing fallen on the ground, Ethan slapped me without asking questions. Sophia, you bastard. How dare you attack her when I'm not here? Ethan immediately went to Chloe's side and carefully checked her injuries. "Chloe, are you all right?" Chloe pretended to be pitifully weak. "Mr. Ethan, I've tried my best, but maybe sister-in-law just doesn't like me." Ethan gently said to her, "Chloe, everyone here likes you. Look at them." At this, others in the office chimed in, "Assistant, if it weren't for you this time, how could we have closed the contract in one go? We owe you so much." Unlike some people, who wish the company well but try every means to sow discord. After gaining the support of most people, Chloe looked at me with a provocative gaze. It was as if she was saying that the company was now firmly in her grasp. Then took Chloe to the hospital, not even giving me a proper look before leaving. Chapter 4. I limped up from the ground and walked out of the company building. I returned home and started packing, placing the divorce papers I had already signed on the living room table. Then I dialed a number, without the slightest hesitation. "Dad, I've made up my mind. I'm going to Australia tomorrow." But before I left, I had a surprise for them. When and Chloe returned to the company, they didn't see me. Chloe slowly spoke from the side, "Mr. Ethan, if Miss Sophia isn't here, what about our press conference?" Ethan thought for a moment, then called me. But I had already blacklisted him. Seeing he couldn't get through, he left me a message. "Sophia, don't be stubborn anymore. I bought you a gift. After this press conference, let's live a good life together." I had believed him countless times, but this time I wouldn't look back. Then I left him a message. "Get lost." And then I blocked all possible ways he could contact me. Seeing he couldn't reach me at all, Ethan frantically paced. He knew that relying solely on the unburned documents, they couldn't complete the content for the press conference. So he dispatched people to search for me throughout Riverwood. What they didn't know was that I had already changed my name. So even if they turned the city upside down, they wouldn't find me. A bunch of useless people. You can't even find one person? What good are you? Ethan pointed at the crowd in front of him, pacing anxiously back and forth. At that moment, Chloe came over to comfort him. "Mr. Ethan, such a big person can't just vanish into thin air. Maybe she's deliberately trying to mislead you." Ethan put away his impatience, turned and pulled Chloe's head into his embrace. "Chloe, don't worry, I'll definitely get you the vice position." Chloe hummed softly, and then they kissed. Who would have thought their kiss would become more intense? They went all the way down to the underground parking lot and passionately engaged in Chloe's car, as the vehicle started rocking. Meanwhile, someone in the shadows filmed the entire process on a phone. A short while later, a video appeared on my phone. It was their extramarital affair video. I watched the entire duration, my heart unmoved. The company was about to hold a press conference, but the key documents had been burned by me. Ethan saw he couldn't contact me. He temporarily put members of my department on stage to speak, but they couldn't, as the core content was in the files. And what Chloe had spoken about before were just my exact notes. She didn't have the ability to explain it herself. He frantically tried to contact me, but received no reply. That evening, I had someone give him this USB drive, telling him it was the last gift I'd give him before leaving, and that it contained confidential company documents. Ethan was somewhat surprised but only assumed I couldn't bear to see the company's efforts wasted and had finally handed them over. After receiving the USB drive, he became brazen and quickly messaged me. "Sophia, don't you just want a divorce? I'll send you the electronic divorce papers tomorrow." He smiled, embracing Chloe, and said triumphantly, "See? Sophia is just my doormat. As long as I beckon, she'll come running." But what he didn't know was that the USB drive contained no documents at all, but rather the video of his and Chloe's illicit activities. Chapter 5. At the same time, I was already on a plane to Australia. I watched the live broadcast on the plane with great interest. The press conference proceeded as planned and was live-streamed. Ethan held the USB drive in his hand, a relaxed and confident expression on his face, as if everything was under his control. I knew he merely wanted me to complete this press conference, so that Pinnacle could soar to new heights. But I had set the stage beforehand. As the press conference continued, it was finally Pinnacle's turn. The number of viewers in the live broadcast had already soared to 100,000. Ethan began to explain the company's core content. Since it was something I had put my heart and soul into, the presentation was extremely successful. Facing the camera, he claimed he would push the company's products worldwide. The audience immediately became enthusiastic. At that moment, a company CEO spoke up. "I'm willing to invest 20% of the shares to increase our cooperation. I'll invest 50%. And me, I'm willing to become your subsidiary." Seeing the effect, Ethan spoke overjoyed. "As long as you dare to follow me, I dare to make you one of the world's top 501 companies. Watching my achievements being stolen left a bitter taste in my mouth, and attributed all my accomplishments to Chloe. Without her, I wouldn't be who I am today. She has always quietly supported me from behind the scenes. Chloe stood beside him, holding his arm, greedily basking in the audience's gaze. At that moment, the live chat comments scrolled wildly. Behind a successful man, there truly is a virtuous woman. I want to marry a wife like that too. This is too happy. Successful in career, successful in marriage. I also want to marry such an ambitious man. Watching the scene on the live broadcast, I sighed. How could a person be so disgusting? My phone rang. Sophia, when are you coming over? I've already made arrangements for you in Australia, and bought you a separate office building. I acknowledged it, then added, Dad, I don't want Pinnacle to survive domestically anymore. Then I hung up. Seeing that the time was right, the slideshow on the big screen changed to the video of him and Chloe's extramarital affair. Ethan quickly turned off the slideshow. Chloe blushed crimson from head to toe. The scene instantly erupted into chaos, and the audience began discussing animatedly. Doesn't Mr. Ethan have a wife? How did he get involved with his secretary? The live chat comments also started flooding the screen. A well-known company CEO, with a wife, yet he's involved with his secretary? Who would dare to cooperate with you now? Absolutely shameless. Men who cheat should be ostracized. As the commotion grew, more and more people at the scene started yelling, throwing shoes and water bottles. Seeing that he was about to lose control, Ethan stepped forward to explain, Sophia and I divorced a long time ago. And he pulled out the divorce papers. Chapter 6. At that moment, I just landed in Australia. Immediately, a large crowd surrounded me, greeting me deferentially. The person leading them spoke, Miss Sophia, we were ordered to bring you home. Looking at the display before me, I couldn't help but sigh, pressing a hand to my forehead. Why is it always like this? I'm not a 3-year-old child. Mr. Arth. UR was afraid you'd change your mind, so he sent us to watch over you, to prevent you from going back suddenly. I followed them back to the mansion where my dad was staying. Seeing me, he immediately stood up to greet me. Sophia, you've finally come around. If you hadn't, my old bones would fall apart soon. Looking at my dad's graying hair and shuffling walk, a trace of tears welled up in my eyes. 3 years ago, my dad wanted me to settle in Australia and quietly manage his business. But at the time, I didn't want to be constrained, I only wanted to develop my career back home. Then I met Ethan. He initially helped me find a job. To thank him, I used what little network I had left in Australia to help him. But after I helped him rise to power, he turned around and abandoned me. I had heard about this, and he told me at the time that Ethan wasn't a good person. But how could he, being so far away in Australia, know his true character? It turned out that the original controlling shareholder had always been in contact with my dad, helping me from behind the scenes. He had learned that Ethan was using shares to increase his own profits and selling off company assets. So I hadn't believed it at the time, but now, Ethan had finally showed his true colors. I hugged him tightly, tears bursting forth uncontrollably. Dad, I'm not leaving again. I'll stay here with you. He responded gently, Sophia, this has always been your home. In the following days, I traveled throughout Australia to forget the unpleasantness back home. Meanwhile, at Pinnacle, Mr. Ethan, our market value has already fallen by 30% due to the unfavorable situation at the previous press conference. Most companies are now demanding to withdraw their shares. If we don't take action soon, we'll go bankrupt. Ethan was frantically busy because of the situation these past few days. Seeing that the company's crisis management had no effect, he mobilized all his resources to find me. Turn the city upside down if you have to, but find her and bring her back. Chloe murmured from the side, Ethan, my car got scratched yesterday on the road, do you think you could? Ethan's impatience became even more evident. Repair it. I'll take you to get it repaired tomorrow. She shook her head and held his arm. No, I want a new model. You can drive this one after you fix it. Ethan turned his head in disbelief and threw her arm away. Chloe, don't you see the state the company is in? Do you think I can still afford to buy you a car? Chloe pouted, don't you still have shares? That should be enough, right? Ethan, hearing this, pointed his finger at her nose and said, Chloe, I thought you were someone who considered the company's interests. I never thought you were so self-serving. I don't have a penny on me right now. Go ask whoever you want. Then slammed the office door and left the company. As the situation escalated and the major shareholder disappeared, Pinnacle began to plummet. Mr. Arthur, I've already withdrawn my shares. Let group fend for itself now. At that moment, an elder slowly spoke, Sophia has suffered too much. If we don't teach them a lesson, it would be too unfair to Sophia. Chapter 7. Ethan returned home, hoping to find some clues I had left behind. He found my bedroom already emptied, and even the wedding photo on the nightstand was shattered. He picked up the broken marriage certificate, looking at everything before him, suddenly feeling so unfamiliar. We had once worked hard to turn a small home into a mansion, a small courtyard into an office building. He suddenly realized, then went back to his bedroom and found a journal. It was something he had written after meeting me. I had told him about my past, and he had listened very carefully, even writing it down. He patted his head. How could I not have thought of that? Then he made a call. Book me the fastest plane ticket to Australia, right now. At that moment, Chloe pushed open the door, asking angrily, Ethan, what about me if you go to Australia? I'll come back as soon as I find Sophia. You just wait for me here in the country. Didn't you say you'd make me Mrs. Gu if she left? Why are you looking for her? Ethan looked at Chloe's distorted face and didn't want to waste words with her. Get out of my way, don't force me. Chloe thought Ethan wouldn't touch her, so she blocked his path with her arm. Ethan pushed her away, got into a taxi without looking back. Chloe cried as she chased after him, slipped, and fell to the ground. Driver, let's go. When arrived at the airport, Chloe called. Ethan, I'm bleeding. Can you come back and take me to the hospital? Ethan clutched his phone, hesitated for a moment, then called emergency services, and turned to board the plane. At that moment, he prayed silently, Sophia, you must wait for me. Sophia, you've been horseback riding all day, when are you coming down? Since coming to Australia, I hadn't felt this free in a long time. Facing the endless grasslands and the small animals visible everywhere, my mood surprisingly brightened. Whoa! I jumped off the horse, only then realizing that this was the life I truly wanted. Before, for Ethan, I didn't hesitate to humble myself, only considering him, always in a subservient position. Dad saw what I was thinking and came over to comfort me. Sophia, don't overthink it. Just enjoy yourself this period, relax. Then, in front of me, I saw a car. And walking out of the car was Ethan. Seeing him, my face showed no emotion, neither disappointment nor sadness. What he was like now no longer mattered to me. I also didn't want to know why he had come to find me. I had already found peace. I continued to tidy the bag on my horse, not looking up at him. Sophia, I'm sorry. I was temporarily lost my way. I finally realize now that you are the most important thing to me. You were the one who kept taking drinks for me at banquets. You were the one who silently supported me from behind, asking for nothing in return. If, and I mean if, you're willing to forgive me, let's start a new home together, have a healthy son, and live a peaceful life as a family of 3. Ethan spoke eloquently to me, tears streaming down his face. But I had seen this drama too many times and was already immune. I slowly said, Ethan, our fate ended long ago. I only left you a piece of the company's business out of respect for our past marriage. As he spoke, he tried to grab my hand, but I dodged him, preventing him from touching me. I was about to speak, but I stopped him, indicating that we should resolve our own matters. Ethan, if you came for me, there's no need. If you came for the company, the business I left you is the biggest courtesy I've shown you. I have nothing to do with you anymore. Your lives and deaths are none of my concern. Chapter 8. Ethan still wanted to win my forgiveness, but my father drove him out. To gain my forgiveness, he knelt outside pleading tirelessly. But when I came out, I found Ethan was gone, and Chloe, I don't know when, was kneeling outside. Seeing me, she immediately threw herself at my feet, clutching my ankles. Sophia, where's Ethan? Wasn't he here to find you? I'm pregnant. I can't let my child be born without a father. Please tell me, where is Ethan? I looked at the scene before me, puzzled, but truthfully told her, I don't know. She looked disbelieving and roared at me, impossible. He clearly flew here yesterday, how could he just disappear? You must have hidden him to get revenge on me. Watching her in her frenzied state, I couldn't help but sigh. Chloe, this is all you're doing. If you had maintained boundaries from the start, you wouldn't have ended up in this situation. You brought this upon yourself. She suddenly burst into laughter, her mind beginning to wander. Ha 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 ha. Yes, it's all my fault. If I hadn't seduced him, this situation wouldn't have happened. As her voice grew louder, her mental state gradually collapsed. She suddenly looked at me fiercely, letting out a piercing voice, Sophia, this is all because of you. I want your life. She suddenly pulled a small knife from her waist and moved to stab me in the chest. I took a step back, dodging her first strike, but my foot slipped, and I stumbled to the ground. She suddenly lunged with a second stab. I knew I couldn't dodge, so I closed my eyes. But a long while passed, and I felt no pain. I slowly opened my eyes and found Ethan collapsed in front of me, a small knife plunged into his right chest. Chloe was startled. She hadn't expected Ethan to take the knife for me. She knelt trembling in front of Ethan, wanting to pull out the knife but not daring to, looking at him at a loss. Ethan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stab you, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Ethan's lips were pale, and he weakly and slowly said, Chloe, it's my fault, but if this lets you spare Sophia, I'm willing to take this knife. Just then, my dad arrived belatedly, shielding me behind him. He checked me for injuries, and only when he saw I was all right did he relax. Ethan turned to look at me, a relieved smile on his face. Sophia, I've done so many things to wrong you before. I know it cannot be repaid immediately, but just seeing you, I feel at peace. Ethan then closed his eyes and passed out. Afterward, we called the police and emergency services. Since was injured saving me, my dad covered all his medical expenses in Australia. Chloe was charged with intentional assault and would stand trial in 3 months. 4 months later, I opened a listed company in Australia. In just half a year, the company's market value soared, becoming the largest listed enterprise in the area. Ethan lay in his hospital bed, his gaze empty as he stared at the ceiling. When he saw me, a glimmer of hope flashed in his eyes, and he tried to sit up, but the pain from his wound contorted his face. My expression calm, I placed the wedding ring I had already taken off on his pillow. Sophia, you still won't forgive me? His eyes were filled with disappointment, looking at me unwillingly. From the day you took that drink for Chloe, we were never going to work out. I won't force myself into a flawed marriage. Ethan's face twisted in despair, tears flowing unconsciously. I ignored him and turned to leave. Ethan recovered from his injuries for 2 months, and I didn't see him once. After he was well enough, he sensibly left Australia, choosing to return to China to continue his career. During this time, he wrote me many letters, but I didn't read a single one, throwing them all into the fire until they burned to ashes. However, his career plummeted afterward, and those who had followed him also abandoned him. So he sold his company and donated all the money, to alleviate his guilt. Chloe, overwhelmed with emotion after her sentencing, caused a miscarriage and ultimately lost the baby. During a company business trip, I returned to China. Back at the former Pinnacle, I found the office building was barely recognizable. The name had also changed from Pinnacle to another group's name. I happened to hear that Ethan had become the director of a children's home. He said he had never had a son of his own, so he wanted to make sure those children without parents also felt loved. Hearing this, I smiled with a sense of peace. Before leaving, I anonymously donated 1 million to the children's home. I hoped that seeing these children, he could let go of his past resentment and look to the future. Thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. See you next time.